I'm David Schwartzman. I approve this message. Okay. I'm a candidate for DC Council at Large.
Yay!
The DC Statehood Green Party.
Yay!
I just want to say that our party does not take corporate money. We do not take developer money. Eugene Perrier ran on our ticket in 2014, and he will again in 2020. I am doing my best to build a movement and create a foundation for victory in the future. Who knows? I may be elected. You have 2 votes, but here I really want to reflect about a sign that Heather is holding. Housing is a human right. We heard that housing is not a commodity. Well, it really, you should say, housing should not be a commodity. It is a commodity. We have runaway speculation, and all the cities in the capitalist world the same thing. And this is part of the agenda of the most powerful lobby in D.C. Do you know who I'm referring to?
Federal City Council.
Exactly. The Federal City Council. Tony Williams, our ex-mayor, is a CEO. This is a lobby of the 0.001%. I don't know, that's exaggerating a little. But it's the big banks and the developers. And they've set the agenda for elected government for a few decades at least. And what do we see? A recent study shows on renters, which are 60% of DC residents, 90% of renters living in DC are paying more than 30% of their income for housing. HUD says anything above 30% is not affordable. Okay, so the stock of affordable housing is disappearing fast. The only really affordable housing, besides a few rent-controlled units, is public housing. And guess what? DC government is the biggest slumlord in DC.
That's right.
They're not fixing it. They're not repairing it. It should be expanded. And I am about, my campaign is prioritizing 2 issues: homelessness and child poverty. These are the worst human rights violations in DC. The worst. And I'm focused on exposing that and addressing that. So, and let me conclude with this. Almost 10 years ago, we became the first human rights city in the United States. Officially, the council approved it and so on. This was a commitment to human rights. They didn't know what they were getting into, okay? Because most human rights have not been realized in DC. So we have a DC Human Rights Committee. It'll be the Alliance, and I hope you join it and participate. And this group has been holding DC government accountable and put out 3 reports assessing their performance. Guess what? A lot of D's and F's. We gave them grades. But we have the opportunity to make DC, a human rights city, a reality. And the only way that we can do it is by solidarity. That's the most powerful thing in the world today among movements. And I see it right here, and I'm greatly moved by this turnout. So solidarity, we can make DC a real human rights city. And I will do my best in my modest way to contribute. So,
David, I have a question. Does DC have a budgetary surplus right now?
It does, and I'm glad you, my friend, asked me to cut. But I won't. I'm going to close on this. I promise. Guess what? And this is one of my issues I've been bringing out. DC residents who are earning more than $200,000 a year. I would think they were wealthy, right? $200,000 a year. Guess what? They're getting a huge federal tax cut because of the federal tax legislation that the Republicans put in. And this coming year, they're going to get over $250 million. The following year, they'll get close to 400 million. And guess what? If we just raise their DC income tax rate and recover their federal tax cut, they'll end up paying the same amount as before. Overall, I think they should pay more, but just being honest, give us back what your big federal tax cut is.
Yep.
We can use that and target that revenue if we create a strong enough movement in DC and demand it and occupy the Wilson building.
Yeah!
And make that possible so we can target that money for public housing, social housing, community land trusts, co-ops, and so on. All the mechanisms outside of the capitalist market, which are the only ones that create affordable housing, because the market is not going to do it. Anyway, thank you for this opportunity.